Hello folks, welcome to the Vertigo Tea Party. So I decided I wanted to do some videos with Murky, but I kind of want to do them in post because especially with Murky, games can be very, very bad and not worth recording. So I actually thought this game went fairly well. It's an okay game because we get a little bit too far ahead of them and it's kind of downhill. But I did some pretty good play with Murky, so I just wanted to show this off. But anyway, first of all, I'm not a pro. I'm not going to pretend that I am by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm sure there's better Murky players out there. But I think I can hold my own pretty well. I usually do pretty good as far as deaths and damage and siege damage and all that all around. But anyway, with that out of the way, Murky's a very unique hero if you're not familiar with him. He's in Heroes of Storm, he has very low hit points. He can die very, very easily. That's kind of the challenge to playing him. However, you might have noticed before there, I actually laid an egg over here, and I purposely hide the egg behind this building. That egg allows me to spawn very quickly. When I die, it takes about 5 seconds and I respawn to kind of make up for the low hit points. However, if that egg is destroyed, then it takes me longer to respawn. Now I could leave that egg safely back in base, and I see some Murkies do that. I strongly advise you do not do that because you see how quickly I died there. Now granted, the Nova does a lot of upfront damage, but still. But I strongly advise you do not do that. You really want it to be close to battle so that, see, I'm respawning, I'm right back into the fight. Right now, it might not seem that big of a deal if you've not played a lot of Heroes of the Storm, but later on, when respawn times can be 20, 30 seconds or more, being able to respawn in 5 seconds is incredibly useful, especially when it comes to objectives. Now, he's got, like everyone else, he's got 3 normal abilities and 2 different ultimates you can pick from. He's got the Squirt, where he makes a little fart noise and kind of shoots out this ooze. It does a little bit of damage and it slows, and if you hit someone who's already oozed, it does more damage. So, and I hate this map, by the way. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I hate this map. Now right here, I'm just trying to live as long as humanly possible so that we can grab the dragon, and in this case, it actually works out. I live just long enough for this person to grab the dragon. But his next ability is the Pufferfish. I used to hate the Pufferfish. Before I really learned to use it properly, I really did not like it. The Pufferfish, he shoots out a Pufferfish out of his mouth, and it lands, and like a few seconds later, like 4 to 5 seconds later, it explodes, doing damage in that area. Now, the reason I hated it, is because it takes so long to go off. It can be very difficult to hit heroes because they see it on the ground, and they're going to avoid it. So yeah, do the Squirt there. Illidan's got a hard-on for me. I find it to be an advantage of Murky, is a lot of players will focus on him because he has such low hit points. They'll follow him and get themselves killed. The Illidan followed me way too far, and it ended up getting him killed. You can use that to your advantage. Find players on the other team who have a tendency to do that, and you can often trick them multiple times. Especially as they tend to get frustrated and they're like, oh, that damn Murky, I'm going to get him. And so you can kind of bait them out and pull them into your team, or if you see your team is close by, you can kind of run them back and then ping the map to say, hey, kill this guy while he's trying to kill me. And later on, you can see you can actually catch other enemy heroes off guard and just solo kill them by yourself, which a lot of people, again, do not suspect Murky to do. That Nova missed a shot. That's why I didn't die almost instantly. There's the Pufferfish. You can see that took quite a while to explode. And again, enemies do see that. So here I'm trying to just break off, get these enemies off of our teammate there. I knew he was fine because he's a warrior. He's got lots of hit points. And a lot of times what I'll do is Murky, if I know if one of our teammates is in trouble, I'll sacrifice myself or just try to pull them away from my teammates so that the teammate can run away. Because when I die, 1, again, I'm respawned very quickly, and 2, I only give 25% experience per kill. So they'd have to kill me 4 times to be worth 1 hero kill. So it's much, if there's an option of me dying versus a teammate dying, I will die every single time. And as you can see, that Pufferfish is really good for taking out enemies. And we'll talk more about the Pufferfish later on. His last ability is the Invulnerability Bubble, where he can't be hurt or snared or anything. while he's in that bubble. It's got like a 12-second cooldown and lasts for, I think, roughly 4 seconds. So we're going to head up here. I missed this Abathur. Watching this video again, I kind of face-palmed about how close I was to seeing him. Now, one thing with pufferfish that I try to be good about doing is making it multi-purpose. So, for example, there, I wanted to do damage to the wall while also doing damage to that wave of minions. That's why I chose to throw it there. I'll also often throw it in such a position that it's going to kill minions, but also either damage their hero or more likely cause them to run away. Is he going to make it? That Abathur is right there, which is important a little bit later on. Come on. You can make it. Nope, he did make it. But while they were distracted, that allowed me to grab it. Which is probably one reason he was kind of just messing with them, because they weren't paying any attention. And it's much more important to get this objective than that one death. It was absolutely worth distracting 2 of their enemy heroes with 1 of ours, and including the death. Absolutely worth it, because this dragon does a ton of damage. And we'll end up taking this out, and probably do a little bit of damage here as well. But, yeah, he's also, Murky's got 2 ultimates. I pretty much always pick up Octograb. Again, I've thrown the pufferfish down, both to get Illidan off of me and to do damage to this incoming minion wave. So we got some fights going on. They finally took the dragon down. And again, I'm kind of coming down now. See, here's the Octograb. Basically, you charge at the enemy. The octopus thing comes up, and it holds them for like 4 seconds while you do melee damage. The melee damage is very minimal by default, like 1 damage or something like that. And look, it ran right by him. Now here's something important for Abathur. I run by and I notice, it's like, wait a minute. I see that he has a locust out, but the yellow line is pretty high. That means that he has to be close by. So I go over here, and I had apparently just missed him. So I'm kind of like, where the heck did that guy go? But he actually did pour it out of there. But that's a really good tip if there's an Abathur on their team. Always pay attention to that yellow bar that's on there. Because, again, that kind of indicates how long... Basically, that's how long before that locust disappears. Because it only can last for so long. So if it's really high, that means it must have just spawned. So here, I'm purposely lowering the butcher as much as I can. I didn't intend to kill him there, but I did want to damage him. And you'll see why here. So now I throw down the pufferfish and do the ultimate. And squirt. Look at all that damage that he took all of a sudden. One, we killed all those minions, so now my minions were helping me to take him out. But pufferfish and then slime does a decent amount of damage. And then once the little octopus grab is done, you can squirt again, doing even more damage. And of course your melee damage. You don't do a ton of melee damage, but, you know, obviously every little bit helps. Looks like I died there. I don't know if the towers got me or what. But that combo is devastating. Optimally, you want to run up, get in melee, usually mounted. You usually want to be mounted. Run up to them, squirt to do damage. That Illidan really, really hates me. Like, he uses the ultimate on me multiple times, which to me seems ridiculous. I think I'd much rather use that on somebody else. But again, a lot of players get focused on Murky because they're like, oh, I can kill Murky. He's got very low hit points. And if you play right, he can be much more survivable than you think he's going to be. And you get that mindset that I'm going to kill him, and it ends up you get yourself killed because you overextend. But yes, ideally what you'll do is run up, squirt, throw the pufferfish, and then immediately use your ultimate. Now, my build here, and I really wish you could see like the talent trees. I don't think that you can. Okay, yes we can. I'm going to pause it for just 1 second here. You can see my build. One thing I love about this game is a lot of times I'll look at talents and I'll think these are crap. Like, I would never pick this up. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try this build, and then we'll see how it goes. And I end up absolutely loving it. That's exactly what happened with this pufferfish build that I go with now. I go with block to help reduce incoming damage to make myself a little bit more live a little bit longer. Living the Dream, I get 5% ability power every 5 seconds that I'm alive, up to 15% total, something like that. Compressed air, that makes the pufferfish area of effect bigger. This is a big one, especially when you're using it in team fights or just against any other hero. It also allows you to hit like 2 towers or just hit more things at once. And again, it helps you zone areas out a lot better. Octo Grab, we talked about that, and which is the ultimate. And Wrath of Cod increases pufferfish damage by 35% against slime targets. Again, that's very good both when you're catching a hero by themselves, when you do the slime pufferfish octo grab combo. It can also be very useful when in team fights there's so much graphical stuff going on. I can often throw down the pufferfish and they won't notice it. And if I can get them slimed, that's all the more extra damage that they're going to take. And as you'll see later on, I'm going to pick up a talent that actually makes it easier to slime enemies. Again, I kind of figured I was probably going to die there, but that was okay. I wanted to try to take a hero. If I can take an enemy hero out, but die myself, totally fine. It's another trade-off I am more than willing to make. So again, you saw me throw the pufferfish. I don't know if I slimed that time or did the squirt, but I did the octo grab, and that helped my teammates finish him off. The octo grab is such a good ultimate. Like his other one, March of the Murlocs, his other ultimate, is okay. It's nice for sieging. Basically, you send out like tons and tons of like little baby Murlocs that do damage and slow enemies in an area. But octo grab, honestly, is just so much fun to use. And if your team is halfway decent, that guy was screwed. I hate when I forget that. When I go that way and realize, oh, their towers are still up, and then I realize I'm pretty much screwed myself at that point. So again, see how fast this refreshes too. Watch how much damage it does. It took him to about half. I don't think I did the squirt at first, but it did slow him down, allowed Vala to get damage, get her trait built up so that she could go ahead and finish him off. But especially later on when you get rewind, which allows you to do an ability twice in a row, you can do insane damage. Basically, and I don't think I do it in this game, but you can throw pufferfish down, squirt, rewind, pufferfish, squirt, ultimate. That's a ton of damage, especially if you have Living the Dream built up, the buff that gives you more damage as you stay alive, and the one that makes your pufferfishes do more damage if they're slime. It does insane damage. Now, obviously, it's often hard to set up ideal situation, but again, I threw in this pufferfish. I didn't hit any enemies, but I did a little bit of damage to this, and if I'd have been a little bit luckier, I'd have got some of the minions as well. But oh well, don't always get it. And I was kind of hoping to catch an enemy running away, or at least standing back. So again, in team fights, I try to throw the pufferfish in such a way that it's either going to force the opponents to move in towards us and kind of get themselves in that situation, or possibly catch enemies that are running. Now watch this. This is pretty awesome. I knew the Nova was close, so I squirted, threw the egg down. I actually forgot to, I misfingered, and I didn't get the egg down. So that was actually less awesome than I thought. Now, she's got like no hit points. And here I do something stupid. You should not do this. I really wanted to kill her, right? That stupid mentality of, I gotta get that kill. I almost started to chase her. That's dumb, because my egg is right here. And any player paying attention would have said, hey, wait a minute. He just died and respawned. He just came back. He's got to have an egg close. And this is one of the most obvious places to hide an egg. And again, a player paying attention, more experience, would take your egg out very quickly. So that was not smart on my part by trying to immediately pop out of there. Because sometimes as Murky, you want to hang back a little bit because you don't want to tip your hand. See, I was trying to chase him, but he did a good job there by sending out the frogs to stop me. So not only did he interrupt my mount, it reset the timer as well, so I couldn't catch up. But I'm going to see if I can't get a good position here. Again, throwing this both to try to catch him if he got too close and to kill that minion wave. Of course, he wasn't stupid enough to stand there, so I did get the minion wave. It's funny, too, watching back Oh, watch this. Oh, she almost gets me very, very low. So I get that block, Octo Wave. I get the pufferfish. Boom, done. So that's crazy frustrating. As someone who's dealt with it, that's crazy frustrating for other players. And that can work in your favor because, again, a lot of times players will overcommit now because they're tired of your bullshit and they want to kill you. And they can overextend. You can use that to your advantage. But again, I pufferfished, Octo grabbed. I didn't bother to squirt because I knew like one more shot was going to kill me. And I kicked him because I was hoping that would be enough to kill. But he had just enough hit points to survive. The kick doesn't do much damage. And this, I'm just getting him away. But I knew that one more hit would have killed me. So that's why I didn't bother doing the squirt. I wanted to get it stunned as fast as possible. And Nova doesn't have a lot of hit points, so I was hoping the pufferfish would kill her. But luckily, like, the immediate squirt or melee was enough. So this Illidan is attacking me again. Again, he's not a big fan of my Murky. And again, why use the ultimate on Murky? And especially in a situation like that I was almost certainly going to die. There was 3 of them together. My team's way off somewhere else, which is fine. Why? Why waste an ultimate to kill Murky? But again, as a Murky player, you want people to do that, right? You want them to waste their ultimates. So here I see we're actually pushed fairly good, so I decided to go ahead and do camps. One thing I struggle with, and one thing I'm trying to work on, is Murky really excels at split pushing, and split pushing is... Oh, wait, here we go. Got another engage. Again, throw the thing, squirt, immediately do the octo grab, and that's a dead Nova. That's a ton of damage. And here's the other part of this. Here's the other part of his ultimate. Even if you kill Murky, the stun, if I'm pretty sure, lasts the full durations, even if you kill him. Honestly, I feel like octo grab's a little too good. I feel like it's a little too good. I like how Sonya trapped us in here. Now watch Butcher's healing here. Butcher's healing is insane. As a player, if Butcher is beating on you and he's getting health back, especially in a team situation like this, you need to back off because his healing is target based. So it's basically his hits against that one player is what gives him life. So you need to get the hell away because she actually kind of hurt us a little bit there by staying in the fight. If she would have just ran away, that would have been better off. We would have killed him a little bit easier. It ended up not really mattering. But again, in that situation, you should definitely run away. But one thing I was going to say about Murky is he's good at split pushing, which means that you go to a lane that no enemy heroes are in, and you push it. Because if he's not getting opposed at all, he can push pretty darn quickly. And that's something I kind of struggle with. So again, I was kind of hanging out because I didn't know that Nova was there. I was just kind of waiting to see what would happen. And she actually did the right thing there. She went straight for the cap instead of trying to kill me. That way, you know, if I wasn't paying attention or something, it would be easier for her to take it. Illidan just completely destroyed me there. I was a little too slow on the old revival. And here I screwed up. I should have moved my egg. As soon as we got the dragon, I should have moved down here or somewhere else and put my egg down. So that was a mistake on my part. That way I can, again, go in, and if I die, I can be right back in the fight. So here I'm just going to try to catch these guys as they run back. That was not really the best move to do right there, but that's alright. But a lot of times with Murky, you can kind of catch people off guard and do the squirt to slow them down so that your teammates can finish them off. And of course, if the Octograb is up, you can do that, which is helpful even more for your team so they can finish off that enemy. And like I said, even without the teammates, and again, here I'm trying to zone out their defenders so that we can escape safely, and you know, try to do a little bit of damage to the tower. Again, it ends up not really mattering because the shields are still up, but you know, again, it's a thought that counts. Here I'm finally thinking to throw my egg down. Again, it's something I really need to work on, is focusing on moving my egg more often and being more offensive with the egg. Especially when you're playing just quick match, most people aren't really that great at looking or paying attention to the mini-map. Because again, like if you see Murky die and 5 seconds later you see him pop up on the mini-map here, you need to be checking down here, this grass and in this little kind of mini maze type thing. Not much of a maze, but in here I'm going to go ahead and do the camps because our pushes are really really far in. So best thing to do at this point is to go ahead and just grab the camps. And at one point too, you notice we have like a 4-level lead. Here we get a little bit too, little overzealous. She ends up trapping herself by the tower, which ended up not working out too well for her. So our 2 warriors end up dying. So, but this happens sometimes when you get ahead, you get overly committed. And I was trying to come save Sylvanas here, didn't happen. Lay down an egg. Oh, boom! Oh, and invulnerability out of the Nova blast. That was some good timing on the bubble, and by good timing I mean lucky timing that it was up, I guess, because I was just spamming E so that a minute because while you're doing that stun, the octo stun, I don't think I mentioned this, you can't do anything either, and you can't escape it. As far as I can tell, you can't cancel it. So even though I saw that attack coming down, there was nothing I could do to stop it. I wouldn't have anyway, but you can't do that. But luckily, it ended just enough time that I could to get out of there. And really, that Nova should have probably went ahead and tried to finish me off. Even with Sylvanas there, she probably could have fell back. Sylvanas doesn't do a ton of damage. And Murky doesn't do a lot of damage if he's ultimates up, which obviously it wouldn't be because I just killed Illidan. Again, this is something I also trying to get better with Murky is as I pass through areas, like as I pass through like lanes, throwing a pufferfish. So let's see how this goes. He attacks. Use Invuln maybe a little bit too early. I squirt and I did actually 2 eggs. So I already had rewind at this point. So I laid two of these down because I was hoping I could get these 2 down and then ultimate him. But I died, but ended up not mattering because my team came up. But as you can see, two pufferfish can actually take down, I think I said eggs before, but 2 pufferfish can zone out quite a bit of the area. I also picked up a talent where wherever your pufferfish lands, it does a squirt in that area. Again, one of those things that when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that looks pretty crappy. I love that ability, especially teamed up or paired up with the ability to make this do more damage. It's pretty great. Now you're already going to at this point, kill minion waves with 1 pufferfish, even without the slime. But again, if you can catch enemy heroes in it, it's great because keep in mind, squirt does do damage. It doesn't just snare, it also does damage. So if you throw a fish and then squirt, not only do you get 2 squirts, and it's funny saying squirt over and over again, and this is where we end the game, and I'm just trying to see if we can't kill him before he goes, but nope, he makes it out. But the second squirt will do more damage because that first squirt had landed. We had won the game, but I still died. Murky still died. So can we see the stats? All right, so let's look at the stats real quick. Now, even with all that dying that I did, it only counted as 2.75 deaths. Because, again, remember, every Murky death counts as a quarter of a death. So I still died less than everybody on my team except for Sonya, as far as XP I contributed from deaths. But the thing is, with Murky, you've got to take that hit points into consideration. And one thing I didn't show well during this match at all was using Murky to kind of go in, especially early. Go in, squirt, throw the pufferfish, do a little bit of damage, and then get out. Either run out or bubble out. Run back to safety, whether it's behind the gate or just away, depending on who you're laning against, to regen that hit points. Because your hit points are so low, you regen fast. Especially if you time things where you kill a minion wave and you grab the regen and then fall back. You'll regen really fast. Now, you have to be careful. I've screwed myself multiple times. You don't really want to go back in until your bubble's back up. because you don't want to give them free XP. Yeah, sure, you only give a quarter of a level, but it's still experience. You still don't want to hand it to them. So generally, I will wait till the bubble's already up or almost up before I go and attack again. Because one, a little damage over time, again, especially early game, that can add up. And by the time objectives spawn, you can have them at half health and a lot lower mana because they're desperately trying to kill you, or because they're healing themselves, or you're draining the healer's mana because they're trying to keep them alive. So that actually does add up, and you can actually get some kills in the beginning too, if things work out your way and if that player's not really paying a lot of attention. And again, I also like the personal, like the psychology of it, right? Because Murky, and I know this again from fighting good Murkies, it can be really annoying for them to come up, be doing damage, and you're like, screw it. And you do a few attacks, and he goes away, and then comes back 10 seconds later and does the same thing again and again. You can't kill him. And it's like, it pushes this thing in your mind, like, I'm going to kill that bastard. And you can, use that to your advantage. This Illidan in this match, for example, he repeatedly overextended, went ballistic trying to kill me, like using his ultimate. Now, that one time he smartly used his ultimate on me to get away from the rest of my team. But other than that, he way overextended trying to get me. You need to take Murky out if you can, because he can do a lot of damage if left unattended. But you also don't want to go ballistic with it. But anyway, that's enough rambling. Hopefully you guys liked this video. Hopefully it was entertaining and maybe even a little educational about Murky. Again, I'm not a pro level MLG player, but again, I think I hold my own, and I do fairly well with Murky, I'd say. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.